Get ready to step into a world where the human heart faces its most brutal test. Absolute solitude. Evelyn's story will reveal the profound depths of emotion when a soul is abandoned by the entire world, and whether the light of hope can pierce through the thick darkness of being forsaken. The weak morning sunlight struggled to filter through the dusty window panes, falling upon Evelyn's pale face. Her once deep blue eyes were now sunken, reflecting weariness and resignation. At 25, life should have been a vibrant symphony, but for Evelyn, it was nothing more than an endless series of somber notes. She sat quietly in the old armchair, clutching a thin blanket, as if it were her only remaining friend. The small, cramped room, once a cozy home filled with laughter, now only echoed with her soft sighs. The photographs on the table, where the bright faces of family and friends once resided, were now turned face down, as if trying to escape sweet but agonizing memories. Evelyn had once been a radiant girl, with a smile that could warm even the coldest hearts. She had a loving family, loyal friends, and a promising future. But then, a sudden storm struck, sweeping everything away. A tragic accident had claimed the lives of her parents, leaving Evelyn alone in the harsh currents of life. The overwhelming grief plunged Evelyn into deep despair. She withdrew into herself, severing all contact with the outside world. Her friends, who initially tried to comfort and encourage her, gradually grew tired and distant. They couldn't understand the bottomless abyss Evelyn was facing, couldn't feel the thick darkness engulfing her soul. Time passed, carrying with it indifference and coldness. The old house gradually fell into disrepair, much like Evelyn's own heart. Letters and calls became fewer and farther between, until they ceased altogether. Evelyn realized, with aching clarity, that she had become invisible in everyone's eyes. One rainy afternoon, Evelyn sat by the window, watching the sky's tears roll down the glass. She felt like a dry leaf carried away by the wind, with no place to take shelter, no purpose. Loneliness enveloped her, squeezing her heart until it ached. She wondered if anyone in this world still remembered her existence. Did anyone still care about a soul slowly fading in the darkness? There were nights Evelyn stayed awake, wrestling with negative thoughts. She felt like a burden, a failure. Why could everyone else continue their lives, while she remained trapped in a painful past? Why wouldn't anyone reach out and pull her from this abyss? One day, while Evelyn was rummaging through old boxes, she found a small diary with a worn leather cover. It was the diary her mother had given her on her 16th birthday. It had been a long time since Evelyn had touched it. Her hands trembled as she opened the yellowed pages, her mother's familiar handwriting appearing, neat and full of love. Reading her mother's words of advice and encouragement, Evelyn couldn't hold back her tears. She remembered her mother's warm embrace, gentle voice, and loving gaze. Her mother had always said that no matter how difficult life became, Evelyn had to be strong and believe in herself. Her mother's words were like a small flame rekindling in Evelyn's cold heart. She realized that even if the whole world had turned its back on her, there was still one person who had always believed in and loved her unconditionally. Her mother. Even though her mother was no longer in this world, her love and teachings lived on in Evelyn's heart. From that day on, Evelyn began to change. She no longer avoided the world. She started cleaning the house, taking care of herself, and finding small joys in life. She read books, listened to music, and practiced drawing, hobbies she had long forgotten. Sometimes, sadness still washed over her, but Evelyn no longer let it drown her. She learned to face the pain, accept the past, and look towards the future. She understood that loneliness could be terrifying, but it could also be an opportunity for her to discover her own inner strength. One morning, as Evelyn was watering the small potted plants on her porch, an elderly woman stopped at the gate. She had snow-white hair and kind eyes. She smiled at Evelyn and asked, "Are you Evelyn?" Evelyn nodded, surprised. "I'm Sarah's grandmother," the woman said, her voice full of sympathy. "Sarah told me about you. She's very sorry that she hasn't been in touch all this time. We've all been very worried about you." Sarah had been one of Evelyn's closest friends before. They had shared so many happy and sad memories. Evelyn hadn't expected Sarah to still remember her. Sarah's grandmother invited Evelyn to their house. There, Evelyn met Sarah and other old friends again. They hugged her tightly, tears streaming down their faces. They apologized for abandoning Evelyn during her most difficult days. Evelyn was so touched she couldn't speak. She realized that even during the times she felt completely alone, there were still people who cared about her. Perhaps she had closed her heart off too much, not giving others a chance to get close. That encounter opened a new door in Evelyn's life. She began to rebuild the lost relationships, opening her heart to the affection and care of others. She participated in volunteer activities, helping those who were less fortunate than herself. In doing so, Evelyn found new joy and meaning in life. Evelyn understood that abandonment could leave deep scars on the soul, but it couldn't define who she was. She had learned to heal her wounds, find inner strength, and cherish genuine relationships. Although the past was still there, like a shadow, Evelyn no longer let it control her present and future. She had found the light of hope, not from the pity of others, but from her own resilience and compassion. And so, Evelyn stepped out of the darkness of loneliness, gradually rebuilding her life, proving that even when the whole world gives up, there is always a smoldering flame in each person's heart, waiting to be ignited by belief and hope. Evelyn's story is a profound reminder of the power of human connection and the remarkable ability of the human spirit to recover, even when facing utter solitude.